This story comes from the feminine heroines and the 9 Little Red Riding Hood endings. It's by Cupiderosbooks, and the story is copyrighted November 20th, 2010. The epic Little Red Riding Hood ending, number 7. For years, an urban legend swirled around the softwood conifer tree forest about a Swedish prince, Gerald John, who was not only a werewolf, but he coveted the crown of Princess Little Red Riding Hood's mom and dad. Naturally, the little girl was not let out of her parents' sight because of this. Whenever she traveled to various relatives' castles in Russia, Sweden, or Germany, a huge entourage accompanied her. Princess Little Red Riding Hood raised her slender hand, halting her noisy coterie of 14 girls holding her long red silk robe 6 inches above the red carpet on the ground. The army guarding her coterie stopped too. Granny Countess Anna Margaret's huge castle gates towered silently over them. Golden jewelry hairpieces dangled, tinkled, and twinkled suspended midair in the thick red coffered locks of Princess Little Red Riding Hood's perfumed hair swept up off of her neck. Her silk ballet shoes gripped the red carpet. A white apron poured on her silky dress, and above this, an attached black waist-cincher accented her growing, gangly, all-legs, arms, and no torso figure. Royal protocol made every act take longer than necessary in Little Red Riding Hood's opinion. She hated being a princess. As a commoner, she might have journeyed alone. 2 weeks through the softwood conifer trees in the north, Gerald John's dangerous woods called for extreme caution, though. Gerald John made threats about taking the throne from her mom and dad. Gerald John probably hired an impertinent woodcutters who made the entire entourage of protection necessary. These highway woodcutter men rudely inquired as to Princess Little Red Riding Hood's direction and goal. Their eyes lingered on her jewel-decked carriage. One of Gerald John's men leaped onto her carriage, but her guard brushed him off with a huge thump of his shoulders. This woodcutter dusted himself off after getting up off the hard ground and ran away, but he managed to hear a snippet about Countess Granny Anna Margaret. Princess Little Red refused to allow all those people into the interior of the castle. Certainly spies must be among her entourage, good enough for them to stay in the warm outer courtyard lit by several fires. This will only take a second, Princess Little Red Riding Hood told them. I'll give Granny her profiterole and butter jar, listen to a few troubling ancestral feud stories, and we'll be off again. The wolf, Gerald John, sat like a queen in a woman's royal blue bedclothes of the Countess on a bed throne. His bedclothes, a royal blue satin, literally danced in the bright candle lights placed in the chandeliers. Granny's imposing figure captured everyone's attention. Seeing Princess Little Red Riding Hood come in, he said to her as he hid under the golden bed covers embroidered with the showy primrose flowers. Gerald John wore Countess Anna Margaret's royal nightcap of white satin and golden lace edgings. Come, my loyal granddaughter. Put the profiterole and butter jar upon the stool. Come, get into bed with me. Slow and sure, as if measured by a grand march playing in the background, Princess Little Red Riding Hood advanced. Her face held straight and revealed no emotions. She approached Countess Granny as if approaching her dad, the Tsar of Russia. Her long train swished over the hard cement flooring. After enough measured steps, Princess Red reached the jewel-decked divan and, like an announced musical ta-tam sounded, placed the items down. She held still, staring at Granny Countess Anna Margaret. Don't be so formal, child, Countess Anna Margaret scolded her. Your dad is the king. No one plans for his crown. She patted the bed with her rough-looking paw At first, Princess Little Red Riding Hood's carefully poised, emotionless face broke composure into shock. She quickly recomposed her expressionless face and covered it with a fake wide smile. "My Granny Countess, your hands are hairy and big as I imagine Gerald John's to be. Better to protect you from commoners, nasty woodcutters, plotting with your third cousin, Gerald John." "Yes, Countess Anna," said Princess Little Red Riding Hood. "My dad warned me about Gerald John. He swore to take the crown away if Dad didn't bear a first son. But I came along, and so what can he do about it? Once long ago, I had his sworn loyalty," the wolf said. "We must be ready with our forces when he attacks." Princess Little Red Riding Hood questioned, "If I had big, deep eyes like yours, Countess Granny, I know how to be ready." "Rest assured, Little Red Princess, I will use these big, deep eyes of mine to see into the hearts of men like wicked Gerald John." "And with your big arms, Countess Granny," Princess Little Red noticed, "I bet you can crush John." "Although you shouldn't have big arms, Granny," the wolf quickly replied. "Even countesses must prepare for battle, for crown and glory. Don't you agree? And your long nose, Anna, Countess Granny, must come from John's side of the family, too." "We are related, yes. I shall always be loyal to you, Countess Granny," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, that's wonderful. Give me a hug, Princess Little Red." Princess Little Red didn't see anything wrong with displaying loyalty to Countess Granny. "Let me get you some coffee first, Countess Anna Granny," after seeing her long ears. Princess Little Red was getting suspicious. "You're not trying to poison your Countess Granny, are you?" said the concerned wolf. "Oh, Countess, you're not in some epic novel where family members betray and mistrust and turn on one another for fame and gold." The wolf laughed. "This is Sweden, after all," Princess Little Red Riding Hood said, bringing back the coffee. "Ouch," Countess Granny said after swallowing a big gulp. "Hot." "I'm sorry, Countess Margaret," she paused. "What big legs you have under those satin royal blue bedclothes." "Better to chase you around and eat you up, my dear," the wolf of Gerald John said, throwing off the golden bed covers embroidered with the showy primrose flowers. He transferred himself into a wolf and growled. Before Princess Little Red caught on, the Gerald John wolf was on her and holding her and opening his maw up wider and wider to swallow Princess Little Red up. All the courtiers started banging on the door because it was taking a little too long. "Is Princess Little Red Riding Hood okay?" they yelled. I'm... The wolf yawned loudly, suddenly lost his grip and fell asleep, falling to the floor. The courtiers crashed the door down. "Princess Little Red has killed Countess Anna Margaret." The silk white cap and royal blue bedclothes covered the werewolf's body. "Oh, a war is going to start now between Gerald John and the king," announced the chief's guard. "Quiet," Princess Riding Hood yelled. She pulled off the werewolf's satin cap, revealing its long, hairy ears. "That's not Countess Anna Margaret. It's the werewolf Gerald John." "He looks like that? Gerald John of Conifer Forest?" "He is," said Princess Little Red Riding Hood. "Now tie and chain him so we can take him back to my dad, the king." "Where is Countess Anna Margaret?" cried the lady courtier, who dressed Little Red Riding Hood earlier that morning. "Search every inch of this castle. We're going to find her." And they did find Countess Anna Margaret in a large walk-in shoe closet on the second floor of the castle. They freed her, and all went back to the king and queen's palace and lived happily ever after. The end. So these are just 2 of the 9 Little Red Riding Hood endings, and the feminine heroines, and the 9 Little Red Riding Hood endings book. You can get it at Cupiderosbooks.com, littlecupiderosbooks.win. Thanks for listening, and do subscribe to this YouTube channel.